When you press Q in edit mode, you also have an option called curve and extract. And if we hover over it, we see that curve and extract offers quite a few options here. Left clicking it will convert an edge into a curve. Shift clicking it will convert a selection into a plate, which is quite drastic from converting an edge into a curve. Control clicking it will make a new object from a selection, which is useful for just making new objects based off of what you have selected. Alt clicking will basically turn it to a curve while destroying what created it. So that can come in useful for times where you just want to do a one-way street to a curve. And then finally, Alt Shift will destructively convert it to a plate, which is useful for destroying the original shape to plate things outward. So to go over this in action, we'll start off with converting an edge to a curve. And my favorite case to demonstrate it and test it is to basically grab an edge and bevel it manually, and then just click one edge and control click the other edge to set up my selection, and then just click it to just convert it to a curve. So now that it's a curve, I'm able to go in object mode and adjust curve just using the Q menu. There's always a Q menu, that's like a meme as well. There's like a Q menu for that. So we could select both of these. We can, we don't even need to mark them. We'll do that selection again. We convert them to a curve. In fact, we could take it a step further and actually grab these two edges, bevel them, and then select all these edges in between. Maybe deselect the garbage. And then we can do a curve extraction, and we've extracted this nice little rounded hook piece, which is one of my favorite pieces to curve extract. With the shape that we have at hand, we can also go in face mode and just select from here to here by selecting this face, holding Control and clicking here in order to select everything in between. And then if we were to shift click curve extract, we actually turn this into a plate. And so with this plate, we can quickly just add a bevel on top of it, maybe give it a give it a segment of 1 and press 1 to adjust the auto smooth. And just very quickly, we've plated this mesh and turned it into its own thing that we can start taking into a different direction if we were trying to model like so. However, there's additional options that are in here that are for more advanced uses, which I believe I go over in the curve extraction video more in depth. But the two main ones is the ability to shift click to turn things into a plate, and then the ability to basically have a edge selection and generally click it to turn it into a curve, which is one of my favorite ways to just quickly get curves on the fly. Sometimes you really just need a curve to trim something, especially when you could just come back and hit everything with a blank material and just very quickly have a very renderable result without a whole lot of effort. So a lot of these options, I believe, offer a lot of instant gratification when used correctly, and especially if you hover over them and read the tooltips to have an understanding of what their cases are for their basic usage. However, hops is often expanded upon by its creative usage of people choosing how they want to use the tools their way, learn it their way, defy all the learning, do things just the way that they intend to learn it. But continuing on, we will select this piece, and if we hover over curve extract, we also have an option here that will basically just destructively extract this to a plate. So we'll Alt Shift click this, and basically we've now separated this into its own piece, and we're now able to adjust the thickness. So this can come in handy for times where you're dealing with things that are already plated and you may want to perform separations. To show it in a more advanced example, we'll look at this from the side, and I'll place a cube, and we'll grab this cube and bevel it till it's nice and chamfered instead of beveled. And we'll place it here, grab both of these, and perform a knife. And while it doesn't show anything, we did imply this geometry onto the mesh. So we can just select this with C circle and just circle select this. And if we were to go in here and basically alt click it, or basically alt shift click, we can extract this to its own plate that we can give its own level of thickness and then lay a bevel into to begin to integrate more finely with its design choices that we've set up here. So there's a lot to this tool that meets the eye when it comes to using it. So I definitely hope that users spend a little bit of time just having some fun with curve extract and finding creative uses for it to integrate it into their workflow.